Listen to the short story, The Man with Two Left Feet, by P.G. Wodehouse, Level A2.
Henry Mills never liked dancing. He lived in New York and was an ordinary bank worker. He spent his quiet evenings reading books, mostly encyclopedias. Henry studied every word carefully. His dream was to read the British Encyclopedia from A to Z. The law of nature says that man can't be ideal in everything. If you are an incredible dancer, you probably have an empty head. Sidney Mercer was a perfect example of this law. He was Henry's colleague. They sat together in a small room, like bears in a cage. Sidney was not interested in learning anything except dancing. That's why Henry was pleased when Sidney left the job. He started working in a music theater. Sidney was replaced by a young man. Soon, he became friends with Henry. He often asked, "Henry, are you going to get married someday? You are already 35 years old." Every time, Henry looked at the funny boy in surprise. Then he replied in a single word, "Me?" This way, he expressed his opinion on marriage. Sometime later, Henry got a new position at work. Now he was allowed to take a summer vacation, so he started looking for a place to visit. Finally, he chose a famous farm. It was recommended in all the newspapers. It was an old building that stood far away from everything. The place had some interesting features. For example, goats walked on the golf field. Also, there was a beautiful lake near the farm. It was mostly clean, but some parts were used to throw away trash. Minnie Hill arrived in this beautiful place soon after Henry. She was a small, thin girl with large eyes. Her skin was as white as snow. For some reason, Henry felt that he wished to protect this girl. One evening, Henry took a walk by the lake. Minnie was also there. "Good evening," he said. His heart started to beat faster. "Good evening," she answered quietly. "You look tired," Henry said, feeling sorry for the poor girl. "It is all because of dancing," Minnie responded. "Did you dance a lot?" "Yes, very much." Henry was trying to find the right words to continue the dialogue. Suddenly, an idea came to him. "I am not an expert in dancing, but I like to read about it," he said. "Do you know that the word ballet includes 3 modern words? Ballet, ball, and ballad?" That was a good strategy. Minnie looked at him with her eyes wide open. "You are so intelligent," she said finally. "You have an excellent education. I wish I read as many books as you." Henry was very pleased. Normally, women didn't give him compliments. The lake was red with the light of the evening sun. Strange things that looked like flies were biting Henry, but he didn't notice them. Something new appeared inside him. Falling asleep at night, he realized that he was in love. From this very moment, the couple spent all their time together. They walked and talked, but didn't dance. A week passed, and Henry returned to New York. Soon his young colleagues started talking about marriage again. "You are wrong about love," he said. "You have to get married." To his surprise, Henry answered happily, "I am going to." The first year of marriage was the best in Henry's life. He felt a deep connection to his wife. They never argued. Henry didn't even have to change his habits. Every day he had breakfast, smoked a cigarette, and then went to work. After work, he liked to take a walk and enjoy the fresh air. In the evenings, he read encyclopedias to Minnie. Minnie sewed his socks and listened to him with great attention. "Is there anything better?" he asked himself sometimes. A year passed quickly. It was their first anniversary. The couple went to see a musical comedy. Then they went to an expensive restaurant near Times Square. Henry was happy. He even felt 15 years younger. Suddenly, he heard a voice by his side. It was Sidney Mercer, his former colleague. Sidney became a very attractive gentleman. He was in great shape. In the light of the electric lamps, his black hair was shining like stars in the night sky. "Henry, my old friend, what are you doing here?" he asked. Then he looked at Minnie, and his face changed. Henry could tell that Sydney liked her very much. He introduced them to each other. Then he said, "We are having dinner because it's our wedding anniversary. And you, what are you doing here?" "I work here as a professional dancer," Sydney replied. "Why aren't you dancing, by the way?" This question caused a sharp pain in Henry's heart. "I don't dance," he said in a low voice. "How sad," Sydney answered with a wide smile on his face. "But I am sure that your pretty wife does. May I ask you for a dance, Mrs. Mills?" "I would rather not," she replied coldly. Henry felt sorry for his poor wife. Of course she wanted to dance. She was only refusing because of him. He took her hand and said, "Come on, Minnie, have some fun." And she accepted Sydney's offer. Minnie and Sydney started dancing. Suddenly, Henry felt very old. He realized that Minnie was so much younger than him. It made him feel terrible. Poor girl had to stay home with him instead of going out. Then the music stopped. Minnie and Sydney came up to the table. She looked even younger than usual. Sydney, this stupid, awful man, was acting like a teenager. Henry looked in the mirror. He was surprised to see that his hair wasn't white. He felt ancient. That evening, Henry decided to learn how to dance. As a first step, he bought a book on the subject. He wanted to keep it a secret from Minnie to surprise her on her birthday. So, he could only read the book while he was at work. But you can't teach yourself to dance in a bank. He had to practice at home. One night, when he was practicing in the living room, Minnie walked in. "My leg hurt, so I decided to warm up a little," he explained. This situation made him rather nervous. He decided to find a dance instructor. Henry chose Mrs. Gavarni because she lived on the next street. She was an active old lady with a mustache and an unusual manner of teaching. "If you don't have 2 left feet, I will make you a professional dancer in a month," she told him. "I've never failed, except in one case. But that wasn't because of me." "Was it because of 2 left feet?" Henry asked. "That man hadn't any feet at all. He fell off the roof after the second lesson and lost both of them. See you on Monday." On Sunday, Henry told Minnie in a shaking voice, "My dear, I think I need to exercise more." "But why? I think you are in good shape." "I have put on some weight," he replied. "I want to add some miles to my daily walk. So I will probably be home a little late tonight." While he was learning how to dance, Henry had a really hard time. It was definitely the worst part of his life. Every day, all his body was in pain. Mrs. Gavarni had a niece. She was a young girl with blonde hair and big blue eyes. She helped Henry to learn, and slowly, he was making some progress. Sometimes the girl followed him outside after the lesson. She explained his mistakes and how to fix them. When Henry danced with her on the street, he felt awful. But one day, he was surprised to see his feet moving on their own. This made him extremely happy. Minnie didn't enjoy their nights together anymore. She looked sad and went to bed early because of headaches. That's all because she is bored, Henry thought. Finally, Minnie's birthday came. Henry looked forward to surprising her. "We can go to the theater and then have dinner at that restaurant again," he suggested. His wife happily agreed. That night, the restaurant was crowded and noisy. Henry was waiting for Sydney. He will come and ask Minnie for a dance, he thought. I will stand up and tell him that I am going to dance with my wife myself. Minnie will be shocked. Sydney Mercer will feel miserable. After the dance, we will start a new life. He was worried that Sydney wasn't going to show up, but he did. He came up to their table and said, Mrs. Mills, we have a bit of time before the waiter brings your order. Let's go to the dance floor. No, Henry cried out. I'm going to dance with my wife myself. Minnie looked at him with her eyes wide open. I thought you couldn't dance, Sydney said. It doesn't look too hard, Henry replied with a smile. Anyway, I will give it a try. At first, everything went fine. The dance floor was almost empty. Henry started dancing, following the rules that Mrs. Gavarni taught him. Then suddenly, he found himself in the middle of a crazy crowd. Weeks of practice didn't help him to control the situation. He felt scared and forgot everything he knew. Some man pushed him in the back. Then someone stepped on his foot. The next moment, he fell on the floor, together with Minnie. Somebody helped them to stand up. Repeat it. This incredible performance should be seen by everyone, Sydney said. A terrible laughter was heard everywhere. Minnie, I am so sorry, Henry exclaimed. They were sitting in their living room. Her back was turned to him, so he couldn't see her face. No response came. I thought it could be a wonderful surprise, he continued in a sad, shaking voice. I've been taking dancing lessons every day, but unfortunately I have 2 left feet. Minnie turned around. Her face was bright with happiness. Did you visit that house on the next street to take dance lessons? I saw you there once. You were hugging some girl. She was trying to teach me how to dance, Henry said quickly. Oh, Henry, why didn't you tell me what you were doing? Haven't you noticed any changes in my behavior? I thought you were bored. You don't want to read books in the evenings with an old man like me. But I love it, she cried out. Henry, do you remember the day we met? I was working as a dance instructor then. Every day, I had to dance with heavy guys with big feet. The best thing you can do for me is to say I should never dance again. Do you mean you like this sort of life? Henry asked. Read to me, Henry dear, she replied softly. It seems ages and ages since you used to. And they started reading. Minnie's head was lying on his knees. Then she looked up with her big, beautiful eyes. Is there anything better? Henry said to himself in a quiet voice.
Hit the like button to support our channel and help other people from around the world to learn English for free. And now, listen to another interesting story.